Hello everyone. Before we go to the video, let me show you what will be happening. We are creating a simulation for a payment gateway in Django Oscar before we migrate this to Stripe, which will be the next video. And we have two options. You either cancel the payment or you complete the payment. Let's complete, and there you go. Let's go.
Django Python, JavaScript, tutorials for Jamie, this is Silver.
What the fuck, HTML?
There's only C.
Welcome everyone. This time let's talk about payment gateways in a more detailed way and start implementing some stuff. Now for this part we will create a simulation page for the payment, and in the next video we can we will implement Stripe, but it could be anything. Alright, I will divide this in 4 sections. And let's start with the gateway simulation. I will drag this to my other screen and open my text editor. And in store, let's create a class-based view named gateway. And we'll inherit from template view. We can already from Django.generic.views.generic import template view. Let's give this class-based view a template name and store slash can be gateway.html. Okay. Can then define the get context data method, and before I return it like that, I will return it as context and say that context is super get context data. So it will execute the parent method. Okay, next step, let's already create this template in store. Let's go with a new folder named templates, and inside templates yet one other folder named store. So it has to be the same name as the app, I guess. And inside, finally create the template. Let's leave it empty for now. And in get context data, let's collect the basket ID from what will be a URL parameter. So let's name this basket underscore ID, and from keywords let's get this parameter named basket underscore ID. Now if we have a basket ID, we will add it, or we will collect the basket and add it to the context. Okay, so we can do something like this: directly into context, name the key as basket, and we will say that it's equal to get object or 404. Basket ID should be this ID. Alright, that's about it for the gateway. I'm going to remove this line. We will not be using render, and we need to import get object or 404. I will copy that already, and from Django.shortcuts import get object. Okay. Oh, and basket. So basket is coming from oscar.apps.basket.models import basket. Perfect. Now let's configure a URL for this. We don't have a URLs file yet, so in store I am creating this urls.py file, and inside URL patterns is equal to a list and let's define a path for this class-based view. So it could be gateway, and like we were saying, it's going to have a URL parameter, can make it of type int, and the name needs to be the same one. So basket ID, end it with a slash. Okay. Then gateway as view, and give it a name. I'm going to name it gateway. Now there are some things that we need to import. So from Django.urls import path, and we can import all of the views from views.py. So from views import everything, because we will have more in the future. All right, that's part of it. We have just created this URLs file. It's from an app, so we need to go to the main URLs file and add all the URLs in store. So we can do that like this: path, and let's leave it empty for the first argument, and include all the URLs in store. So store.urls, end it with a comma, and it should be now accessible. Let's try that. So not catalog, but gateway, and it will be taking a basket ID. So yeah, I have to go to the dashboard and check for a basket ID in fulfillment orders. We can pick any of these. Let's pick the first one. So 1001. No basket matches the given query. 10. Oh, okay. I know what. It can't be the order number. Okay, so this is the order ID or the order number, and 28, it's going to be the basket ID. So it's a matter of picking any of them. Now in here, I'm simply going to copy this HTML code. Uh, Link is in the description. If you prefer, you can type it, but because it's just HTML, let's go with this. Now let's go through this like really quickly. The most important part to understand in here is that it has two links: to cancel the payment, and the other is to complete the payment. Let's reload that. So this is a simulation for a payment gateway. This could be anything: PayPal, Stripe, whatever you want. So to keep it simple right now, we will be going to this simulation page. Then in the future, when everything is working, we just change this with a link to, we will do Stripe for the specific case. Okay, let me bring back my script, and we're done with the gateway. Next step is to code a redirect view. Why do we need this? Let me open this in other tab, and when we are in the checkout process, we will be at some point in payment details page. What we are going to do is to have a link in here that will go to a redirect view. So let's do that now. Back to views.py. I'm actually closing the main URLs file, and in views, let's create one other view, one other class-based view. So class gateway redirect, like that, and it's going to inherit from checkout session mixin, and also from redirect view. Okay, just like that, we will need to import checkout session mixin and redirect view. You can do this from Django.view's generic, so redirect view, that's one of them. And the checkout session mixin is coming from oscar.apps.checkout.session, and you finally can import it from checkout session mixin. Good. Now inside here, we will configure this method named redirect get redirect URL. Now I'm not going to return this. Instead, I will return something else. Let's give some context. We are coming from this page, so we click one of these links and we will execute this view then. So one of the things that we want to keep is the payment that we have selected, and we will add that payment to our session like this: self.request session, and we can add a new variable like this: payment method is equal to, and I'm going to name it gateway. So this view, it's going to be dedicated to a single gateway. So imagine this could be gateway PayPal, and then you could have one other named gateway Stripe, and you would add the payment method as PayPal and Stripe. Okay, the point is to have a single redirect view for each payment method. For now, let's keep it abstract and name it gateway redirect. We have saved the payment method in the session. We can later access this variable again. Now we will build a submission for the basket like this: basket self build submission parentheses, and we pass basket in a list like that. Now if basket is empty, let's send a message saying your basket is empty. Your basket is empty. Alright, we need to import messages. So from django.contrib import messages, and then we return to the beginning of the checkout. So return reverse basket summary will take us to the beginning of the checkout. So here, basket summary. All right, for now we continue here, and when we click one of these links, we know that we will be executing this code. Let's import reverse. Reverse is in Django URLs, so from Django.urls import reverse. That's perfect. There's one thing that happens in here that is quite important. If the basket is not empty, then we can go to the gateway. Everything is correct. But before you go to the gateway, you will freeze the basket. So basket freeze. It's a Oscar function on the basket that will freeze your basket. What does this mean? Let's see this example. I'm still in this page. The redirect view was not executed yet, but let's open this other tab and view the cart. So it's everything in here. We can update, but when we go to the checkout, first of all, we need to see the 30 euros basket. That's correct. What's interesting now is when we reload this page, the the cart is gone because the basket was frozen. Things are like this because you cannot come back to the cart while you are in the gateway and add more products and pay the same amount as before. For this reason, we freeze the basket just like that. When we have made sure that the basket is frozen, we then can redirect to the payment gateway. Now, the payment gateway is that page that we have created previously. So we can make it like this: f gateway slash curly braces and pass in the basket ID. We're almost done with this part, but we still need to configure. Let me return and restore the basket. So this is something that we will take care of soon. Now what we want is to have this link in one of these options. Let's take care of that and add a path for that view in our URL patterns. So we can make it like this: path. Can name it redirect, end it with a slash, and then the view. So gateway redirect as view. Give it a name. I will name it gateway underscore redirect. And both lines with commas if you haven't, and save. And now I will open this template. Let's look for that in templates, Oscar, checkout, and it's going to be in payments underscore details.html. Okay, now from here I'm going to add a new list item and end it with a line break, and simply I'm going to create an anchor tag. The link is going to a URL template tag for gateway redirect, and I'm going to put a name on it for gateway, so this could be anything. That's good. Let's try that. I'm going to reload it. It's in here, so this should take me to this page, and it has automatically, so this should be something in here. Okay, I found the problem. If you haven't, you need to put a slash in the beginning of gateway so it doesn't add to the redirect page. Okay, let's try that again. I will reload this page and start from the checkout beginning, chip to this address. Now here we should be able to go to gateway now. Perfect. Basket ID 35. We don't have any of these links configured yet, and that's exactly the next two steps. So canceling and completing the payment. Now the cancel part is quite simple. Now when we cancel a payment, we are on the gateway, but we are not going to abandon. We will instead cancel. Now canceling the payment will take us back to the store and restore the basket. So if you remember, right now the basket is freezed because we are in the gateway, but when we hit cancel we will restore it. Let's start that. Let's head back to views and create a new class named gateway cancel. So class gateway cancel, and it will inherit from redirect view. We need to define again get redirect URL. Instead of returning this call to the parent method, I will already return this to reverse and the string inside basket summary. So this will take us to the beginning of the checkout where you visualize your cart. Okay, this is part of it. Now what we want to do is to take this back. We want to unfreeze the basket, so to speak. And how can we do that? We have our basket ID in the payment gateway. We send this to our payment gateway. And we will add from the payment gateway this basket ID in our get request to cancel payment. It's quite simple. We will get from get object or 404 and basket ID is going to be keywords basket ID. So basket ID, just like in here, it's going to be a URL parameter, okay? And we will say that the status is equal to basket frozen. Now, how can we unfreeze the basket? It's super simple. Basket.thaw. There you go. This makes sure that the basket is restored. Now I have some typo in here. Let me see what's going on. Okay, I have an extra equal in there and it's working now. Probably we will test that in a second. We have the view. We still need to configure the URL. Let's do that now. And I'm simply going to duplicate the previous line and name this path cancel. Same URL parameter for basket ID, and the view it's going to be gateway cancel, and we can name it gateway underscore cancel. Only one thing missing, which is to give the URL for the anchor tag. So let's make that a template tag URL, and we have named that path gateway cancel, and remember that it takes the URL parameter basket ID, which is coming from get context data method in here. So we are in a gateway and we have added the basket to the context. Alright, we are ready to test this. I'm going to reload this page. We can check that the basket is still frozen, and when we hit cancel, the basket is simply restored, let's say. That's another part of it. Now finally, let's look on how to handle the payment successfully. One final view, we will name it, let's say, class gateway success, and it's going to inherit from payment detail view and order placement mix in, not mixing. All right, let's add these imports in the top of our file, and like this, from oscar.apps.checkout.views import payment detail view. Now similarly, I'm even going to duplicate that line, but not from views this time, instead from checkout mixins we will import the order placement mixin. Perfect. Probably have some typo in here. Let me see. It's details, not detail. Okay. Now in here there are two things that we need to do. Now payment details view will work together with order placement mixin and checkout session mixin. These mixins have a lot of helping methods to work with the payment details view. You can check this in the Django Oscar source code. Payment details and order placement mixin, along with checkout session mixin, use a preconditions and skip conditions list to verify the whole process. So this list has methods that will be run to verify things like, is your basket empty? Do you have the address from the client? This kind of verifications you can add to these two lists: precondition list and skip condition list. Now, because we are on the end of our order and we have everything taken care of, we are really just registering the order by now. We won't need to verify any of this. So we can skip or we can override these methods. One of them is named check preconditions self and request, and simply you can use pass because we don't really need them. I'm going to duplicate it, and the other one is named skip. We need to define the get method. Define get self request args and keywords. Okay. Now in here we will retrieve the basket ID from keywords just like before. It's coming from the gateway. It will be coming from this URL parameter, and you can assume that it will happen the same in Stripe. We can configure things in a way that Stripe will send us the basket ID. And yeah, let's continue. A string with basket ID. Now there are a couple of things that we will need to do. First, let's get the basket. So basket objects.get. The ID, it's going to be this basket ID. And the status needs to continue frozen because we are returning from the payment gateway. So basket.frozen. That's perfect. Now let's check if selector, and this is more related to discounts and offers, but we need to verify this. Basket strategy is equal to selector dot strategy and pass in self request. We need to import selector. Let's do that. I'm going to put it in here from oscar.apps.partner.strategy import selector because we need to add some more. Then I'll copy them up. And one other thing, if there are any discounts, we need to apply them. I believe, let's see, applicator, parentheses, and apply. We pass in the basket, the self request user, and we said that the request is equal to self request. Again, we need to import the applicator. Let's do that. So from oscar.apps.offer.applicator, applicator, import applicator. And finally, we can return the submit. So this will run with the build submission for the basket. So return self.submit is double asterisk self build submission and pass in the basket. So basket equals basket. That's one of the methods that we need for the gateway success. Let's keep in mind that we are returning from here, we are completing the payment, and this will take us to the thank you page of Django Oscar, where we confirm the order. Okay, one other thing that we need to do. Now, one other method that we need to define is handle payments. Define handle payment. So handle payment will have self, order number, a total, and keywords. In this method, we will take care of the payment itself. Okay? We can assume that if we are returning from the gateway, the payment was successful. In the future, there are alternatives. I'm going to show you how to use webhooks. But for now, we are in this more traditional payment form with redirection. Now, we will need to get the payment method from the session. So if you remember, we have stored this in a section variable earlier named payment method, and now we can get it back like this, payment method. If for some reason we didn't get it, we can give it a default value. Okay, so this payment method we have stored in our gateway redirect. This was happening when we were selecting the payment. All right, that's one of the things that we will need. And then we need to create a source type. The source type will hold the payment method. Let's do that. So source type, source underscore type, comma underscore. So we will use get or create. Now the model source capital T type that object get underscore or create and pass in the name as payment method. We need to import source type again. So from oscar.apps.payment.models import source type. Perfect. Continuing, when we have the source type, we will use it on a source. And the source looks like this. Source, we need also to import source underscore type is equal to our source type. That's one of them. Comma, currency is equal to total currency. So it's coming from this one. Let me see something. Then, after currency, let's define the amount allocated, and we will say that it's a string of the total with the tax included. Okay. After the amount allocated, we will define the amount debited. Again, the same value. I'm just going to copy paste it. I have here one extra parenthesis that I need to get rid of. After the amount debited, you can optionally define a reference. So for this case, I'm just going to leave it empty. end it with a parenthesis and import source from the same as source type. So comma source. We are almost done. uh, there's still a couple of things that we need to do, which is to add this source to a payment source and create a payment event or add a payment event to this order. Let's start by adding the payment source. It's in here, add payment source, and it's just the source itself. And for the payment event, add payment event, we need to pass in some arguments. We can say that the status is settled. We can pass in the amount, so it's going to be this one. And again, we can associate it with a reference. If for some reason you need a reference, you can add it. That's it for the handle payment method. Now we need to place the order at last. So let's create this method. By the way, these methods are defined in order placement mixin. If you check the source code, you can see what they are doing in there. We are simply using the Django Oscar source code to take care of the order placement. We are not forking the app checkout, we are just using the Django Oscar code, which is a peculiar difference. But now let's continue. So with one other method named handle order placement. Now this has a good amount of parameters, self order number. If you want to copy from the post, you should. I'm just going to continue like I did in the whole video. Shipping method, comma, and continue here with shipping charge, billing address, order total, surcharges. Hope I don't have a typo in here. The chances are high at this point. And finally, keywords. Let's continue. Now we can finally place the order like this. Order is equal to self.placeOrder, and we need to again pass a lot of arguments or parameters. I don't even know anymore at this point, but let's continue. Order number is going to be equal to order number, comma, user, it's going to be equal to user. The basket is equal to the basket, so it's all coming from the parameters of the function. The shipping address is going to be equal to the shipping address, and you're guessing it. The shipping method, the shipping charge, the order total, the billing address, don't forget the comma, the billing address, the surcharges, and finally the keywords. The keywords go alone, by the way, just like that. Okay, it's closed, and we can finally submit the basket like this. Basket submit, and return handle successful order. So self handle successful order with the order that we have just placed. That's it for the gateway success. Now, like always, we need to associate this class-based view with a URL. Again, it's going to be similar to the ones with the URL parameter. So I'm simply going to duplicate that line and change parts of it. So success or gateway success, gateway success, the same for the name, gateway success. There's only one final thing that we need to do, which is to go to the gateway page and add the link for the success view. So instead of gateway cancel, gateway success. Save that. Let's now test the whole process. We can leave one of these tabs open. This is long gone. Okay, I will just return to the catalog page, and in here I have something already in my cart. Proceed to checkout. Ship to this address. Doesn't matter. Go to the gateway. You can either cancel or complete. Let's try complete already. A problem occurred while processing payment for this order. No payment has been taken. Please contact customer services if this problem persists. So now we need to take a look on what happened. Of course, a typo. The chances were high, not gonna lie. So amount allocated, amount is not double M. Let's repeat that. Continue. Okay, that worked. I didn't quite see. Gateway, complete payment. Alright, there you go. We will take a look on the dashboard to see how things are looking. Fulfillment order, order 37. Uh, yeah, here we have the information. Payment events settled. The amount is 15. We also can check the data in the payment tab. So in order details, we have this tab, and here you go. Gateway, the name that we have defined in the redirect view. So in here, allocation 15, amount debited 15, no reference, and yeah, that's it. There you go. Creating a payment simulation in Django Oscar. Now for the next video, I'm just going to keep it simple and use the same code to implement a Stripe integration. So in reality, we'll just change some parts of this and configure Stripe. Uh, Thank you so much. I hope it's useful for you. I have struggled with this a lot in the past, and now I'm trying to facilitate the life of other people. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video for Stripe. Thank you. Bye.